మంత్రులు, ముఖ్యమంత్రి గారు, రాష్ట్రపతి అందరి సమక్షంలో కూడా ప్రారంభం కానున్న ఈ అంతర్జాతీయ యుద్ధ నౌకా సమీక్ష మన విశాఖ నగరానికే ప్రపంచంలో మరింత కీర్తి ప్రతిష్టలని, మరింత గౌరవాన్ని, ఆదరణని తెచ్చిపెట్టబోతోంది. ఈ సాగర తీరం ఎంత గొప్ప విశేషం అంటే ఎన్నో దేశాల సంబంధించినటువంటి నౌకలు అదేవిధంగా తమ యొక్క ఉపరితల రవాణా శక్తిని ప్రదర్శింపజేయడం కోసం ఇక్కడకు విచ్చేసి ఈ సాగర తీరాన్ని మరింత సుసంపన్నం చేయడానికి సంసిద్ధం కాబోతున్నాయి. ఇప్పుడే గౌరవనీయులు భారతదేశ ప్రధానమంత్రి గౌరవనీయ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారు విచ్చేసి వేదికపై ప్రజలకందరికీ అభివాదం చేసి ఈ వేదికను మరింత సుసంపన్నం చేశారు. వారు ఎల్లవేళలా దేశ సౌభాగ్యాని కోసం, ప్రజా సంక్షేమం కోసం నిరంతరం కృషి చేసే గొప్ప మహాకృషీవలులు, అద్భుత నాయకులు. అటువంటి మహానాయకులు గౌరవనీయులైన శ్రీ నరేంద్ర మోడీ గారు ఇప్పుడే అంతర్జాతీయ యుద్ధ నౌకా సమీక్ష కార్యక్రమానికి విచ్చేస్తున్నారు. వారితో పాటు వారి ప్రక్కనే నడుస్తూ మన తెలుగు రాష్ట్రాన్ని ప్రపంచ దేశాలలో అనేక రాష్ట్రాల్లో ముందుంచడం కోసం సిద్ధపడుతున్న గౌరవనీయులు ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ రాష్ట్ర ముఖ్యమంత్రి చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారు కూడా వారితో పాటు విచ్చేశారు. ఈ వేదిక సుసంపన్నమైంది. ఒక ప్రక్క అద్భుతమైనటువంటి నావికా విన్యాసాలు ప్రారంభమయ్యాయి. ఒక పక్క బాంబుల అద్భుతమైనటువంటి ప్రశాంతమైన ధ్వని సంరంభం, వేరొక ప్రక్క ఆకాశ మార్గాన్ని మరింత దేదీప్యమానం చేయడం కోసం ఎన్నెన్నో హెలికాప్టర్లు అంతర్జాతీయంగా విచ్చేసి ఉన్నాయి. అందులో మన భారతదేశంకి చెందిన చక్కనైనటువంటి హెలికాప్టర్ మన దేశ మువ్వన్నెల జాతీయ పతాకాన్ని ఆకాశ మార్గంలోకి ఎగరేసి దేశ కీర్తి ప్రతిష్టలను ప్రపంచ దేశాలకు చాటి చెప్పినట్లుగా అద్భుతంగా భారతదేశానికి చెందిన ఆ హెలికాప్టర్ ఎగురుతూ దేశం యొక్క పతాకాన్ని, 3 రంగుల జాతీయ పతాకాన్ని, ఆకాశ మార్గాన్ని మరింత సుసంపన్నం చేసి దేశ ప్రతిష్టని, దేశ గౌరవాన్ని చాటి చెబుతోంది. అంతర్జాతీయంగా ఎన్నెన్నో దేశాల నుండి విచ్చేసిన ఆయా ఆకాశ మార్గంలో ప్రయాణం చేసే ఉపరితల రవాణాకి చెందిన హెలికాప్టర్లు ఆకాశ మార్గమంతా కూడా అద్భుత విన్యాసాలను చేస్తూ గగన తలాన్ని మరింత దేదీప్యమానంగా, సుసంపన్నంగా చేస్తూ ఉన్నాయి. ఈ సాయంకాలం మరింత సుందరంగా, సాగర తీరం మరింత ప్రశాంతంగా, విశాఖకు వన్నె తెచ్చేటట్టుగా చక్కని ప్రదర్శనలు ప్రారంభమయ్యాయి. ఇప్పటికే వేదికపై నావికాదళ ఉన్నత అధికారులు, కేంద్ర మంత్రులు, రాష్ట్ర మంత్రులు ఎందరెందరో విచ్చేసి ఉన్నారు. ప్రముఖులందరూ కూడా తమ తమ ఉన్నత ఆసనాలపై కూర్చుని ఈ అంతర్జాతీయ యుద్ధ నౌకా సమీక్షని ప్రత్యక్షంగా తిలకిస్తూ ఉన్నారు. ఒకేసారిగా ఆకాశ మార్గంలో అద్భుతంగా ఆ హెలికాప్టర్లు చేసే విన్యాసాలు, ఇంకొక ప్రక్క సువిశాలమైన నీలి సముద్రాలలో ప్రయాణం చేసే యుద్ధ నౌకలు. ఈ అద్భుత సమీక్ష కనుల విందుగా చూస్తూ జనములందరూ కూడా మహాద్భుతమైన ఈ దృశ్యంతో జనసంద్రం పులకించిపోతోంది.
At fast speed will give a demonstration of a typical Marine Commando beach assault, which would normally be done by night. The beach assault is a daredevil act in the face of the enemy. The Marcos you can see on the seas were raised in 1986, the only amphibious special force in India. They are a three-dimensional force capable of operating over sea, air and land.
యుద్ధ నౌకలు సముద్రంలో ఇచ్చే ప్రదర్శనలతో సాగర జలాలు ఉవ్వెత్తున పైకెగుస్తున్నాయి. ఈ అద్భుతమైన యుద్ధ నౌకల విన్యాసాలు కన్నులకు మరింత విందుగా ఆహ్లాదకరంగా కనిపిస్తున్నా ప్రపంచ దేశాలన్నీ ఈ సందర్భంగా చాటి చెప్పేది ఏమిటి అంటే సాగరాల సాక్షిగా మనందరం ఒక్కటే, వీఆర్ ఆల్ వన్ ఇన్ ది బ్లూ సీ. ఒకేసారిగా ప్రత్యర్థులు పైన వ్యాపించినప్పుడు ఆ సాగరంలో శత్రువులను చెండాడడం కోసం సైనికులు చేసే విన్యాసాలని మనం ప్రత్యక్షంగా తిలకించవచ్చు. ఒక్కసారిగా పైకెగిసిన ఆ మంటల మధ్య సైనికులు క్షేమంగా తీరానికి చేరి శత్రు సైన్యం మీదకి ఏ విధంగా దాడి చేస్తారో, దండయాత్ర చేస్తారో ఇక్కడ మనకి ప్రత్యక్షంగా కనిపిస్తూ ఉన్నది. సాగర తీరంలో జరిగే ఈ విన్యాసాలు శత్రు సైన్యం మీద మన భారతదేశ సైనికులు ఏ విధంగా ఎదుర్కోవడం కోసం చేసే దండయాత్రలు, ఏ విధమైన ప్రయోగాలు ఉంటాయో అవన్నిటినీ కూడా ప్రత్యక్షంగా చూపిస్తున్నారు. ఒక్కసారిగా అగ్ని పైకెగిసినప్పుడు ఆ అగ్ని మంటలలో శత్రు సైన్యం యొక్క తాకిడిని ఎలా తట్టుకోవాలి, క్షేమంగా తీరానికి ఎలా చేరుకోవాలి, తమను ఎదిరించిన యుద్ధ వీరులను ఏ విధంగా తిప్పికొట్టాలనేది ఇక్కడ కొన్ని మచ్చుతునకలుగా ఉదాహరణలుగా మన భారతీయ సైనికులు అంతర్జాతీయ నౌకా సమీక్షలో మనందరికీ ప్రదర్శింపజేస్తూ దేశం యొక్క సామర్థ్యాన్ని, మన భారతీయుల యొక్క సత్తాని చాటి చెబుతూ ఉన్నారు.
The helicopters that you see again from left to right are the UH-3H, a commando carrier. The second helicopter, a Seeking 42 Bravo in an anti-submarine warfare role. She is a submarine killer. The third helicopter, the Kamo 31 air early warning helicopter, the eyes of the fleet. And lastly, the Chetak utility helicopters. Here they are. Look at these helicopters approaching their respective ships now.
You can see the helicopters approaching their respective motherships. Helo operations at sea require the highest level of precision and accuracy. Notice how the helicopters will maintain exact positions with respect to the ships. You will appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, that the pilots require exceptional skills and extensive training to take these machines beyond the envelope. The bristling array of weapons and sensors on the ships is greatly augmented by the multi-mission capable helicopters that you can see right in front of you.
Also look now to your right over the seas. As you will notice the approaching Seeking 42 Charlie helicopter flying in. She is a commando carrier as well. Look also at the waiting Gemini inflatable small craft. While the ships are embarking the helicopters and shall proceed to the next mission, what is this Seeking up to? In a short while, you will notice the insertion of the Marine Commandos into the Gemini craft, which in turn will be deployed for a clandestine operation.
The Marcos are an elite special force who have also been utilized in close-quarter urban area battles. The Marine Commandos have stringent physical fitness standards and require exemplary mental toughness to remain in the cadre. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The Marine Commandos are slithering down from the Seeking 42 Charlie helicopter. There they go, the Marine Commandos. You shall witness more of their exploits very soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action is now shifting. Remember, the commandos had secured the beach for landing. So look ahead now. As you can see, 4 landing craft mechanized, or LCM in short, from the amphibious ship Jalashwa approach the beach. The LCMs will simulate beaching to disembark troops and infantry combat vehicles of the Indian Army. There you go, the ramp door of the LCMs are open for today's demonstration. This is an indication that they have beached. While this is a simulation, in an actual amphibious landing, the infantry combat vehicles will move. There you go, the T-72 armored tanks of the Indian Army.
The tanks have moved in. Enemy firing will commence and our troops will neutralize the enemy. Today, the soldiers of 9 Madras Travancore Regiment are tactically advancing on the enemy beach. The motto of the Madras Travancore Regiment is Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya. It is a glory to die doing one's duty.
As the amphibious demonstration comes to an end, look towards that yellow platform on the beach. For today's demonstration, that platform is a high-value target, such as an oil rig. In real life, there you go! Boom!
The Marine Commandos have just blown up the enemy high-value target. Shift your gaze now to the seeking 42 Charlie helicopter that is approaching the commandos.
They will be extracted by the helicopter as part of STIE operations, that is Small Team Insertion and Extraction. Look at that Gemini craft below the seeking helicopter.
Using this method, Marine Commandos can be flown underslung on a halo, either to a safe or suitable place for subsequent recovery. This technique is most suited for recovery from merchant ships, oil rigs, combat raiding craft and thick jungles that do not have a suitable landing area. The STIE rope is slung under the halo and can carry a small team of 6 Marine Commandos underslung. The Marine Commandos are hooking on to the STIE rope using a combination of carabiners and full body harness. They will now be picked up and flown underslung in front of you. Now that's a new type of a seat belt, isn't it? There they go, the Marine Commandos. Ladies and gentlemen, next time you fly, please do not try this. They are flying business class.
Watch carefully, they are in a buddy pair, each of them hanging on to the other. While capital ships take the battle to the enemy, smaller units play a crucial role in safeguarding the coast. We will now witness the immediate support vessels, or ISVs in short, which will carry out a high-speed demonstration. So look straight ahead and you can see 6 of these ISVs that are part of the 84th Squadron based here at Visakhapatnam approaching us in a synchronized manner. With their water jet propulsion, they can operate in shallow waters and offshore in deeper waters as well with equal ease.
The vessels have routinely been undertaking patrol operations not only along the coastline but also in close vicinity of our offshore oil rigs to guarantee their security. There they are, all lit up. You will notice in a short while the first pair will turn outwards and peel off from the formation. These nimble, highly maneuverable vessels can easily achieve speeds in excess of 40 knots.
That is like driving a Ferrari on the road.
There they go, the first pair have peeled off. Thereafter, the other pairs too will peel off. Hold your breaths now, as you will get to see a very unique demonstration. Look ahead and you will notice two large, majestic ships moving from right to left. The vessel on the right-hand side is Indian naval ship Virat, and she will launch one Sea Harrier fighter aircraft. So look seawards towards the majestic ship that has tirelessly served the Indian Navy for over 3 decades. Fasten your seatbelts. Look straight ahead at the mighty Virat.
Any moment now. Keep watching Virat.
There she is, the Sea Harrier from the ski jump of Indian naval ship Virat. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that was quick, and it was almost a blink and miss moment for some of you. But those of you who missed the precise moment of launch, do not be disheartened. You will get another opportunity right away. So keep your eyes hooked on to the majestic Virat, for she will launch a second Sea Harrier from her ski jump within a few seconds. Fasten your seatbelts, forget about the safety instructions, and look at Indian naval ship Virat. There she goes, the second Sea Harrier.
Look straight ahead seawards in the sky as two Hawk advanced jet trainers will approach us in a phantom formation and will simulate a dogfight. Here they are. Essentially, each aircraft would maneuver hard to slot behind the other aircraft to get into a missile or gun kill position. There they are, coming from our right hand side now. Look at these phantoms.
You would have seen a helicopter hover at the same place, but not a fighter aircraft. Here comes a Sea Harrier fighter aircraft from Virat, which will hover on the spot like a helicopter. Look to your right. Here she is, the White Tiger. That was not a helicopter. That was a fighter aircraft.
Look seawards, the largest ship that you can see on the horizon. The aircraft carrier, Indian naval ship Visakhapatnam. She is about to launch a MiG-29 fighter aircraft any moment. The aircraft will launch in the direction of Visakhapatnam port trust. Keep your eyes hooked on to Visakhapatnam. Are you looking, Vizag? Right ahead of you, a MiG-29K fighter aircraft is going to take off from that behemoth called Visakhapatnam. There she goes! The MiG-29K fighter aircraft are part of Indian Naval Air Squadron 303, the Black Panthers. Look to your right hand side now. In a while you will find two MiG-29Ks will approach us and carry out a low-level flypast. There they are. Here they come, the Black Panthers. Keep watching them.
Ladies and gentlemen, pump in the adrenaline as she lights up the Vizag sky. An aircraft's ability to perform aerobatics is dependent on two aspects. First, the aircraft itself, but more importantly, it is the pilot's skill to execute gravity-defying maneuvers. Well, very shortly, you will see a MiG-29K that took off from the aircraft carrier Visakhapatnam a short while ago, doing a maneuver called the Vertical Charlie. This time, ladies and gentlemen, do fasten your seatbelts and you must read the safety instructions. Look straight ahead. There it is, the Vertical Charlie. 0 to 6G in 10 seconds.
For those of you who missed the first launch of the MiG-29K, well, there is your ship Vikramaditya. In a short while, the second launch of a MiG-9K will be undertaken. So keep your gaze hooked on to Vikramaditya. Any moment now, keep watching. A second fighter is going to be launched. And some of you may have missed it. Look to your extreme right, up above in the skies. You will find 5 aircraft in a seagull formation. The lead aircraft, a P-8I. Flanking the P-8I are a MiG-29K on either side. And on the extremes, the Hawk. Here it is, the seagull formation.
Look right, the flypast isn't over as yet. Very soon, the Illusion 38 Sea Dragon from Indian Naval Air Squadron 315, the Winged Stallion, will appear. The aircraft undertakes maritime patrol and anti-submarine warfare tasks. Ladies and gentlemen, look right, there she is. From the horizon, here comes the Illusion 38. That is not an illusion. That is an Illusion 38. As she lights up the evening sky for us.
The Winged Stallion goes by us. Look ahead now at the orange-colored boys floating on the surface of the water. Well, we in the Indian Navy fondly call them the killer tomatoes. You will now witness in a short while rocket firing by the Hawk and MiG-29K aircraft at those killer tomatoes. The Hawk will fire armor-piercing, high-explosive rockets. So look to your right side in the sky, as very shortly a Hawk will make her approach. Though a trainer aircraft, the Hawk Mark 132 is capable of firing air-to-air missiles, bombs, guns and rocket projectiles. Here she comes, look at her approaching the target. Keep watching. And there she goes. Did you feel the thunder beneath your feet? Keep looking right, as now a MiG-29K will undertake the firing. But look a little higher in the sky. There she is. Be ready for the earth to shatter beneath your feet now.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the thunder from the skies, look seawards to your near left at the formation of ships moving from left to right. You can see the stealth frigate Satpura, the destroyers Mysore and Ranveer. In a short while from now, you will see them rain anti-submarine rockets towards the right. These destroyers and frigates are virtually the lions and the tigers of the seas. Their weaponry is the source of their might. Anti-submarine rockets can be fired in an extremely short duration by ships, and the direction of firing can be changed any moment. All these ships have launchers with 24 rocket launcher tubes.
Keep watching these ships. Any moment now, they will pound the sky and then into the water.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand by firing setup. Begin the countdown, as all hell will be unleashed.
Did you see that? These rockets are fired by ships against hostile submarines. These are not ordinary rockets that simply explode on impact. The rockets reach the depth set by the ship and then explode underwater, sending shock waves that have the ability to crack the submarine's hull.
The show isn't over as yet. Please do continue watching the formation of ships ahead of you. In a short while, Satpura, Mysore and Ranveer, along with the stealth frigate Plague and the anti-submarine warfare stealth corvette Kamorta, will undertake firing by their medium-range guns. Satpura, Mysore and Kamorta, in fact, are indigenously designed and constructed ships. Are you ready for the heavy, heavy fuel? There she is.
What a beautiful spectacle this is! Can you hear the thunder of the guns? The whiff of gunpowder charges up all gunners, and we believe there are many in the audience today.
And now look to your left as a hovercraft belonging to the Indian Coast Guard approaches us. A hovercraft has the unique ability to effortlessly skim not only the water surface but over land as well. It is natural, therefore, that these hovercraft are instrumental in ensuring coastal security, especially locations which are difficult for conventional boats or craft to maneuver in. They are capable of achieving speeds in excess of 45 knots or 85 kilometers per hour. They are the perfect vessels to operate, be it the marshy waters of Haldia or the shallow waters of Pok Bay. There it is, another Coast Guard hovercraft as she skims over the water surface effortlessly.
The immediate support vessels don't stay out of action for long. So look to your left and to your right. Here they come again, but this time they come from our flanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the skies have descended the Indian Navy skydiving team.
The immediate support vessels are coming from our flanks. They will form up and proceed out to the sea for another mission.
For those of you who are counting how many of these skydivers are landing, let's make your task easier. There are 16 divers. The lead skydiver is carrying with him a special package, the Maritime Heritage Book, that is soon to be released by the Honorable Prime Minister. The other skydivers come with a special message. Ahoy! Hello! Namaste!
सतह पर जहाजों का संगम गूंजे गगन we are united through oceans. Hello, namaste. सागर की सतह पर जहाजों का संगम गूंजे गगन we are united through oceans. Hello, namaste. Hello, namaste. Sea our sacred blue. Friends are beyond the ocean's blue. Faith white in the sea are sacred blue.
Hearts of oak in this brightly weather on the ocean blue. Let's sail together
On the main breeze, our spirits are free. At home and heart, we long for thee.
Look at the Bay of Bengal. In a few seconds, it'll be time for sunset. Watch out, the skies will come alive. Watch out for a scintillating display of illumination in a coordinated manner. Coordinated. That is what the armed forces across the world do. In sync, always. In a short while from now, the evening skies of Visakhapatnam will come alive. A visual treat for everyone here.
Stand by for sunset at sea. 3, 2, 1. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful sight.
2 eyes aren't enough, you might say. Ladies and gentlemen, if you think the display has touched your hearts, all we ask of you, Isaac, please give us a thunderous applause.
You can now see the ships of the Indian Navy at anchorage and illuminated, marking the end of this operational demonstration.
Keep watching. It's not over yet. We will keep firing till you feel happy, till we hear your applauses.
They will light up this beautiful evening sky. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening was a date with the Indian Navy.
Visakhapatnam. This is the Indian Navy's way of saying thank you. Having witnessed an enthralling operations demonstration by the Indian Navy, remember, we watched an Indian naval skydiver who jumped from a Seeking 42 Charlie helicopter with the Maritime Heritage Book. That lead skydiver was Lieutenant Commander Kunal Saini, who's landed on the beach and now is in front of the Prime Minister with a copy of the Maritime Heritage of India book. He is presenting the book to the Honorable Prime Minister.
In a short while from now, the Honorable Prime Minister will release the book on the Maritime Heritage of India. Ladies and gentlemen, the book has been released, the Maritime Heritage of India, in hardbound version. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Raksha Mantri will now present a memento to the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. commemorate the International Fleet Review 2016. I now request the Honorable Prime Minister to launch the e-book version of the Maritime Heritage of India. May I now request the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, to address the City of Destiny, Visakhapatnam. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Prime Minister of India.
Honorable Governor of Andhra Pradesh, Chief Minister Sri Chandra Babu ji, my cabinet colleagues, delegates of foreign navies, brave and proud men and women of the Indian Navy, and the resolute people of this great city, Visakhapatnam. I am privileged to visit Visakhapatnam. The city has a special place in the heart of all Indians. My last visit to Visakhapatnam was in October 2014. At that time, Cyclone Hudhud had left the city shattered in pieces. But the people of Visakhapatnam smiled in the face of adversity. It is a tribute to the city that within 14 months you have risen against all odds to welcome the navies from across the continents in this internal fleet review. A little over a year ago, we saw the full fury of the ocean. Today, thanks to the spirit of the people of Visakhapatnam, we are discussing how the oceans can be a source of economic prosperity for all of us. For its courage and resolve, we all salute the city of Visakhapatnam. My profuse thanks to the men and women of the Indian Navy for their tireless dedication for making this fleet review a truly historic success. My sincere gratitude also to Chief Minister Chandra Babu for his strong support for this international event. For me, personally, witnessing the harmony among the best of international navies here has been a rewarding experience. Just over 3 months earlier in October, we welcomed in Delhi for the first time ever all the 54 African nations, including over 40 heads of state for the third India-Africa Summit. A few weeks earlier, in August 2015, India had hosted in Jaipur 14 heads of the state for the second Forum for India-Pacific Island Cooperation. Just day before yesterday, we welcomed all the SAARC countries for the 12th South Asian Games in Guwahati. And today, it is our pleasure to welcome 50 foreign navies from every corner of the globe at India's second International Fleet Review, the first one on India's East Coast. Your participation is a message of cooperation and friendship that we deeply cherish. On behalf of my countrymen, I thank you all for accepting our invitation and joining in this event with such a spirit. To build on the gain from today's gathering, India would host the first ever Global Maritime Summit in April this year. Its priority would be to scale up and strengthen the vibrant trade, investment, technology, and commercial linkages between India and other maritime nations. Friends, the oceans and world's waterways are global commons. Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, the concept of whole world as a family, is perhaps mostly vividly witnessed on the oceans of the planet that connect us all. The last time India hosted the International Fleet Review was in the year 2001 in the city of Mumbai. The world of 2016 is vastly different. Its politics is turbulent and its challenges complex. At the same time, the oceans are the lifeline of global prosperity. They present us with great economic opportunities to build our nations. Over 90% of global merchandise trade is carried on the oceans. Over the last 15 years, its value has grown from about $6 trillion to about $20 trillion. Oceans are critical for the global energy security, as over 60% of world's oil production moves through a sea routes. Our ability to reap economic benefits from the oceans rests on our capacity to respond to the challenges in the maritime domain. The threat of sea-borne terror of which India has been a direct victim continues to endanger the regional and global peace and stability. Piracy too remains a strong challenge. The threat of natural disasters like tsunami and cyclone is ever present. Man-made problems such as oil spills, climate change continue to risk the stability of the maritime domain. A peaceful and stable maritime environment is therefore critical for the regional and global security. It is also a must to harvest the riches of the oceanic ecosystems. Given the scale and complexity of modern day challenges, the international maritime stability cannot be the preserve of a single nation. It has to be a shared goal and responsibility of all the seafaring countries. To this end, the navies and maritime agencies of the world need to work together and engineer virtuous cycles of cooperation. But where necessary, they also need to act to secure the international sea lanes of communication. I believe that if oceans were to propel our economies, then we must use seas to build peace, friendship, and trust and curb conflict, respect and ensure freedom of navigation, and cooperate, not compete. In responding to the challenges in the seas, the large presence of foreign navies at this fleet review is a confirmation of our shared urge to walk the pathways of peace and cooperation. To keep the maritime domain safe and secure, friends, India is and has always been a maritime nation. India's ancient Sanskrit texts also refer to the oceans as the storehouse of Chaturdashanam Ratnanam, the 14 gems. Surrounded by sea from 3 sides, India has a long coastline of over 7,500 kilometers. We have been blessed with a rich maritime heritage ever since Lothal in Gujarat became one of the earliest seaports of the world. India's central location in the Indian Ocean has connected us with other cultures, shaped our maritime trade routes, influenced India's strategic thought, and defined our maritime character. Since the days of the Indus Valley civilization, India has maintained an extensive network of maritime links, including with Africa, Western Asia, the Mediterranean, the West, South, East Asia, and the Far East. We are delighted that the navies from all these regions have joined in this fleet review. The photo essay book on the maritime heritage of India that I have just released showcases the glorious maritime tradition. Friends, in modern times too, The oceans, especially the Indian Ocean, occupy a vital place in India's national security and economic prosperity. The waters of the Indian Ocean touch the shores of over 40 countries. About half of world's container traffic and close to one-third of world's cargo traffic passes through this region. 90% of our trade by volume and 90% of our oil imports are carried on the seas. India's 1,200 island territories and our huge exclusive economic zone of 2.4 million square kilometers make clear the economic significance of the Indian Ocean. For us, it also serves as a strategic bridge with the nations in our immediate and extended maritime neighborhood. In March last year, in Mauritius, I had spelled out our vision for the Indian Ocean. The Indian Ocean region is one of my foremost policy priorities. Our approach is evident in our vision of Sagar, which means ocean, and stands for security and growth for all in the region. We would continue to actively pursue and promote our geopolitical strategy and economic interests on the seas, in particular the Indian Ocean. To this, India's modern and multidimensional navy leads from the front. It is a force for a peace and good. A network of growing political and economic maritime partnership and strengthening of regional frameworks also help us pursue our goals. Friends, India's quest for economic prosperity through oceans is a part of our larger effort to transform India. We are not just a bright spot in the global economy. Regionally and internationally, we are a pillar of stability and important growth center. India's rise is in harmony with the goal of maintaining the regional and global peace and security. Within the country, there is great optimism, enthusiasm, and a can-do mindset. This optimism comes from the energy and the enterprise of our confident youth. It also comes from our bold and sustained measures to transform our country, improve our laws, processes, and institutions. We are launching new initiatives and creating opportunities to empower people and give them a sense of ownership in nation's progress. Make in India, which has reignited our manufacturing sector, is one such initiative. Defense manufacturing and shipbuilding are among its focus areas. In a week from now, on 13 February, we will hold 7 days of global engagement under Make in India in Mumbai. During this time, the best in the global industry would link up with the innovation, design, and manufacturing opportunities of India, the world's fastest growing economy. We want to invite the whole world to make in India, make for India, and make for the world. We take pride in the fact that all the Indian naval ships participating in this fleet review, at least 37 are made in India. A number that will surely rise in the coming years. Our Skill India program is building institutions that train, support, encourage, and guide our 800 million youth on the path of entrepreneurship. Our skilled youth are ready to respond to the national and global manpower demands of the 21st century. An important part of India's transformation is my vision of blue economy in its widest sense. The blue chakra, or the wheel in our national flag, represents the potential of the blue economy. An essential part of this pursuit is the development of India's coastal and island territories, but not just for tourism. We want to build new pillars of economic activity in the coastal areas and a linked hinterlands through sustainable tapping of oceanic resources. Strengthening our marine research, development of eco-friendly marine industrial and technology base, and fisheries are other elements of our goal. In this endeavor, I see youth in the coastal areas as our true assets. They have a natural and deep understanding of the oceans. They could lead the way in the development of blue economy in India. In partnership with all coastal states of India, I want to shape a special program of skilling India's youth in the coastal areas of the country. Friends, in the end, let me once again congratulate the Indian Navy for the flawless conduct of this grand event. For the homeward journey of all our naval friends from across the world, may you always have a fair winds, following seas, and many a fathom below your keel. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi for his motivational words of wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, shift your eyes from the seas onto the beautiful Queen's Necklace of Visakhapatnam, the beach road. It's that time of the evening when we shall have some fun. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the International City Parade.
Ahoy, hello, namaste everyone! A warm welcome to all the dignitaries and guests to the International Fleet Review 2016. I am Vishal Malhotra, and with me I have Simon Singh.
Ahoy, hello and namaste ladies and gentlemen. Together we will take you through this wonderful display of tradition and trust, colors and culture,
skill and splendor.
It is truly wonderful to have this opportunity to enhance mutual trust and confidence with our maritime neighbors and partners. We look forward to having a great time with all of you
We
this
sure
evening.
do. Well said, Simon. This evening, we have on display a blend of military powers and cultural extravaganza. The Indian Navy will be showcasing its assets in an absolute power-packed session of three-dimensional action. We will have a good look at India through its various facets. Yoga, Khadi, National Cadet Corps, the magic of indigenous technology, self-reliance, the medium and small-scale industries as they develop at a rapid pace. literally bringing Make in India to life, and also the India of tomorrow through the kids participating from local schools. Wow! I just can't wait for this to begin.
Neither can I, and I'm sure all of you gathered here can hardly wait for it to begin as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we open Colours of India with one of India's most incredible contributions to the world, yoga. With the hugely successful celebration of International Yoga Day on June 21st, yoga has claimed its rightful place once again in the world. And next in will be performances from the south, the east, the north and the west of India. Each region exhibiting its distinctive and mesmerizing colors, energy, rhythms and dances.
The finale will be a melting pot, bringing together a flavor that only India can showcase. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge hand for the performers, please!
Durga
gentlemen, now begins one of the most exciting parts. This is what we've been waiting for. Here comes the International City Parade. Times are changing, as Bob Dylan famously said, and women are rightly taking over pride of place in every aspect of life.
That's right. This year we proudly celebrate women empowerment distinctively. You'll find many contingents being led by brave admiral courageous women. Starting with Commander Parveen Malik, who is leading the parade.
Do you know, Vishal, all of the NCC cadets in today's parade are dressed in khadi. That makes me so proud.
Absolutely, Simone. Khadi is truly a symbol of Swadeshi spirit and a great reminder of the huge potential of our small and medium-scale industries. Khadi symbolizes India's return to its traditional occupation and revival of its glorious past.
Vishal, I know for sure you're going to love the next segment, as will all our audience.
Wow, that sounds amazing!
It does indeed, because that is the sound of the Naval Brass Band, led by Master Chief Petty Officer First Class Musician P.S. Rao.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Naval Contingent. The Navy is a model of preparedness, high morale and discipline. It's an inspiring sight. Brave young soldiers in their crisp white uniforms, marching ahead. They are also referred to as the Men in White. The contingent marching on the tunes of Jai Bharati is led by Sub-Lieutenant Anuj Verma, commissioned on 25th May 2015.
Following the naval contingent is the Air Force Band from Air Force Academy, Hyderabad.
And I recognize this tune. The band is playing the tune of Vijay Bharat and is led by Junior Warrant Officer Shankar Das.
Here come the warriors of the Indian Air Force in the smart combination of blues.
The Air Force contingent, led by Squadron Leader Sheetal Sharman.
And Squadron Leader Sheetal Sharma, an admin branch officer who's done his junior command and staff course at Bangladesh. Next, you can see the Coast Guard, who enforce maritime law with the motto, Vayam Rakshamah, we shall protect.
The Marching Coast Guard contingent is led by Assistant Commandant J.V. Avasthi.
Crossing the dais now is the law enforcement agency of the state, the Andhra Pradesh Police Contingent and Band from the 16th Battalion. Leading these brave sentinels is Sub-Inspector J.M.V. Satya Narayana.
Once a soldier, always a soldier. Look at the poise and pride, Simon, with which the 93-year-old commander, Sri Ramalu, is leading the veteran contingent comprising of the ex-servicemen from the Navy.
Truly a man worth emulating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now witnessing the National Cadet Corps contingent. This voluntary organization grooms the youth of the country into disciplined and patriotic citizens.
You can see the young cadets led by Cadet Senior Under Officer T. Pratima, marching with honor and pride. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen. They don't make men like that anymore. I can hear a remarkably great tune there, Simon.
You can indeed, because that is the Naval Band, fondly called the Wind Orchestra. Their magnificent ensemble has acquired national and global renown as they performed all across the globe. They are being led by P. Chandrasekhar, Chief Petty Officer, musician. And equally inspiring is the contingent from Scenic School, Korakonda, led by Cadet R. Srinivas. This school has produced many high-ranking officers in the armed forces and important personalities in civil walks of life. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause.
Here come the young sea warriors. Their love for water motivates them to explore the depths of the ocean. Ladies and gentlemen, led by Instructor Petty Officer S. Nivitha, the Sea Cadet Corps of Visakhapatnam.
What we're witnessing here, ladies and gentlemen, is the India of the past, the present and the future. Not content to rest on its historical heritage, India has reinvented herself time and again by offering our best to the world. We've made great strides in indigenousness, self-reliance, technology, commerce and space.
Make in India has been time and again been a boon not only for our nation but also for the world. The display to follow are visual reminders of India's incredible contribution through Make in India.
From the Naval Dockyard, Visakhapatnam, the first float, ladies and gentlemen, inspired by the theme of Make in India. A huge round of applause for them. This tableau depicts a Kolkata-class destroyer and a globe with a satellite depicting the Indian Navy's network-centric efficiency.
Do you know there's an advanced version of this class? And it's called, this will surely enthrall the audience, INS Visakhapatnam!
An indigenously built submarine. That makes me so proud. Ladies and gentlemen, the second Make in India float comes from the Naval Dockyard, Mumbai. The 280-year-old yard, a proud institution, started out as a shipbuilding yard for the British East India Company.
Wow, that's almost 3 centuries back, a wee little before my time. This float has the dockyard's shipbuilding heritage represented by HMS Trikomali, built at Wadia Shipbuilders in the era of British East India Company. A submarine built at Mascot Dock and an indigenous aircraft carrier built at Cochin Shipyard Limited.
Vishal, you will feel such a proud Indian as the next tableau comes into view. This is the ISRO on view, the Indian Space Research Organization, which recently made headlines all over the world. And this tableau shows us why. The model of Mars Orbiter spacecraft, which made India the first country to have achieved total success in its maiden attempt to explore Mars using an unmanned spacecraft.
Amazing. You know, I remember reading about it and feeling so very proud. I also spot along with it a working model of the 32-meter diameter dish antenna, which communicates with the Mars orbiter at a distance of 350 million kilometers.
You know, they say man never made any material as resilient as the human spirit. What we are going to witness next is an overwhelming demonstration of these very words. In October of 2014, Cyclone Hurud hit the city of Vizag. And how did the city respond? Did they lay down and die? Not at all, ladies and gentlemen. The civil administration, the Navy and the GVMC got together, not only put the city back on its feet, but also outshone all other cities in its new avatar.
You're absolutely right. The resilience and strength in the face of adversity that the people of this city have shown. This is amazing. They deserve a huge hand.
That India is a magnificent country is not a recent realization for the world. After all, we've had so much to offer for so long now.
Absolutely. Among other things, a country is famed for its culture, its heritage, its art, and India has one of the most diverse forms of culture to offer the world.
What a beautiful sight indeed is that peacock float. And what follows seems to be equally enchanting. I do love those beautifully synchronized ribbon dancers and those marvelously festooned feather costumed dancers. What a radiant riot of colors, expressions and dances. Those djembe drums create such a wonderful rhythm, don't they?
It's time to let in the sights and sounds of the world next. And what I can see from here makes my heart skip a beat.
I see that too. The global contingents are here. They look disciplined, they look colorful, they look enchanting. all together. I'm going to run out of adjectives here very quickly.
It's a sight that makes one speechless with wonder. Ladies and gentlemen, the International City Parade! Our Honorable Prime Minister's visit abroad have led to strengthening of bonds with and maritime relationships have gained immensely from these visits.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and offer up a very warm welcome to our international participants in the true traditional Indian spirit of Atithi Devo Bhava.
The Australian Navy, Simon, has successfully managed to become contemporary with its new generation Navy program. It has addressed the cultural, leadership and structural changes to meet the challenges of delivering future capabilities.
That is truly inspiring. Here the Australian band and marching contingent make for an absolutely delightful combination of sights and sounds. And my, those Sydney Opera House roof cutouts are really, truly beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen from HMAS Darwin, please welcome the Australian band and their contingent.
Please give them a big hand. What a beginning this is. Next follows the much to be admired Bangladesh Navy. Starting with only 2 gunboats in 1971, today it is engaged in promoting peace through an active role under UN peace support operations. Indo-Bangladeshi maritime relationships are among the strongest bonds we share.
That is truly a remarkable achievement in such a short span of time. The Bangladesh band here with the contingent looks gorgeous in their Bengali traditional saris and their gorgeous floral umbrellas as well.
Please welcome from Samudra Joy, the Bangladeshi contingent. Samudra Joy means the ocean of happiness.
The Brazil Navy stays true to its slogan of protecting its wealth and taking care of its people. And why not? Imposing waterfalls, wetlands filled with wildlife, and the untouched wilderness of the Amazon rainforest. It truly has an abundance of beautiful nature.
And this natural resource-rich country's contingent is seen here in dazzling and colorful costumes. Their music, of course, is a perfect reminder of one of the world's most rhythm-filled countries.
Ladies and gentlemen from the Brazilian ship Amazonas, welcome the Samba people. Match the Samba with your style. Ladies and gentlemen, give them a huge round of applause.
I spot next the Chinese contingent. Their navy upholds the principle of loyalty and justice, defense of its maritime territories, and protects the nation and people with the utmost diligence and courage.
Home to one of the most well-known 7 wonders of the world, seen from space, the Great Wall of China. They make a superb and magnificent display of the dragon dance here, and their costumes and Chinese fans look utterly stunning.
From the Chinese Navy ships Lu Chu and Sanya, the Type 2054 Alpha frigates. Ladies and gentlemen, the Chinese Navy contingent with a crew of 160 each on these 2 ships. That makes 320 Chinese today in the city of Vizag. Welcome to Vizag.
Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. Do you know which contingent is coming in next, Simon? I'll give you a hint. It's one of Europe's dominant cultural, economic and military powers. Its navy has the motto, honor, fatherland, valor and discipline on the deck of every ship in its fleet.
I think I know that one, Vishal. We are talking about France, represented here by a breathtaking display of costumes glittering in silver, red and blue sequins.
From the French ship Provence, this multi-mission frigate is incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, the French platoon took part in the Republic Day parade. And then they're here in the City of Destiny.
Here's an interesting fact. With various coastal radars, Indonesia has one of the world's longest integrated maritime surveillance systems.
Remarkable, isn't it? Speaking of remarkable, the contingent in their embroidered bodysuits and the distinctive headgear make for a truly splendid view, along with the Indonesian band.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Indonesian ship Usman Harum, please give it up for the Indonesian contingent and band from the largest archipelagic nation in the world.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the beautiful Indonesia. That's the spirit, Visakhapatnam. Y'all are doing beautifully today. One more big shout, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, let your applause be heard in Indonesia tonight.
A beautiful array of colors, dances. What a beautiful place it looks like. Simone?
A magnificent cultural representation of Indonesia, I have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for Indonesia.
Coming up next, did you know that an Iranian navy in one form or another has existed since the first Persian Empire around 500 BC? Hiking, skiing, beach holidays. There's a lot to do in this country that tourists come and visit for. Here, the contingent and the band look spectacular in their Iranian costumes, which are a product of their glorious heritage.
From Alvand, from the Islamic Iranian Navy. Alvand was commissioned in 1971, and here's something interesting. The Iranian ship had taken part in the International Fleet Review in 2001. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for our friends from the Persian Gulf.
Coming up next, the Japanese contingent now brings us to their Navy Defense Program guidelines, which define the role of the defense forces as effective response to the new threats and diverse situations, proactive efforts to improve the international security environment, and preparation for full-scale invasion, which is the primary role of defense forces.
Here, the Japanese contingent is a fine display of their traditional attire in formal or festive moments known as the kimono. The Japanese fan as prop is one of the most recognized sights about their nation the world over.
Next in line is the Malaysian contingent. The Royal Malaysian Navy protects Malaysia's coastlines, territorial waters and economic zones from potential trespass or illegal activity.
Here they celebrate their nation's natural abundance through this beautiful display of nature-inspired designs on their traditional female costumes, also with hibiscus umbrellas and sunflowers as props. How beautiful and colorful this is.
From the Malaysian ship KD Lakir, a Kasturi class corvette, these are 125 proud men of the Malaysian Navy.
The Maldivian Defense Force Coast Guard finds its roots in the 1570s Kalhua Fumi, as its insignia symbolizes the legendary sailing boat used in the battle to free the country from Portuguese invasion.
Known for its beaches, blue lagoons and extensive reefs, the contingent's attire, vest and lungi, and props, dolphins, jellyfish boats do full justice to the nation's unique geography and topography.
From the Maldivian ship Huravi, and would you believe it? She was built at Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, Kolkata. Comes this proud contingent from the tourist paradise of Maldives.
Beautiful indeed. Simone, did you know the National Coast Guard is one of the only two paramilitary units in Mauritius? The Special Mobile Force is the other.
That is fascinating to know. And I think here their attire is perfectly indicative of another facet of this very famous island, tourism. Wow, can you spot the beach umbrellas, the beach balls, surfboards, seashells, and even a starfish? And the colorful Mauritian costumes and utterly delightful beach props. A great reminder of where to be vacationing this summer, ladies and gentlemen.
From the Mauritian ship Barracuda. This ship incidentally was handed over by our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. Barracuda was built at Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mauritian Navy.
Let's have a look at the Myanmar contingent. Since 1988, thanks to the effort of State Law and Order Restoration Council, the SLORC, the country's naval has experienced dramatic growth.
Of course, Myanmar is also known for its abundance in jade and gems, oil, natural gas and other mineral resources. And I do absolutely love their look and attire. Traditional South Asian costumes of short kurtas, lungis and sarongs.
You know, I spot Oman next. It is as recent as 1970. The formation of Sultan of Oman Navy was officially announced and joined Sultan Armed Forces as a main service. They have grown formidably in this short period of time.
Oman, of course, is famous for many tourist attractions as well. Beaches, museums, seaside resorts, among other fabulous experiences. Their attire and the props in their contingent here is a dazzling display. I especially love the LED lit dufflies. Quite a perfect picture they paint, don't you think?
The motto of the Russian Marines invokes respect. Where we are, there is the victory. Its remarkable marine strength commands awe all over the world.
That is inspiring indeed. And what we see here is a vibrant display of Russian dance form. Dressed in attractive balloon sleeve shirts and harem pants, the dancers in the Russian contingent look utterly ravishing.
From the Russian naval ship Ypron comes the Russian contingent. Ypron is a diving support and submarine rescue vessel. She has a submersible, which, would you believe it, can go up to 1,000 meters. Ladies and gentlemen, the Russians from Ypron.
The homepage of the South African Navy reads, "The South African Navy is a modern, balanced and credible navy which commands international respect and contributes to the safety, security and welfare of South Africa in times of peace and war." Precise, direct, no ambiguity there.
And equally majestic and clear is the South African contingent's resplendent array of LED drums and fire costumes. The lion heads and black attire make for royal viewing indeed. Wow, look at those spears and animal print costume. They do make an amazing sight, don't they?
From the South African ship Spienkop comes the South African contingent. From the land of Springboks and the great Nelson Mandela. Ladies and gentlemen, giving you South Africa.
The Sri Lankan Navy defines its mission as to conduct prompt and sustainable combat operations at sea in accordance with the nation's policies. I do like the feeling it conveys, Vishal.
Absolutely. It does convey a sense of alertness. You know, I absolutely love this naturally rich country for its beaches. Here, the Sri Lankan band and contingent looks enigmatic thanks to their beautiful masks and the magnificent hues of black.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Sri Lankan naval ship Sayura, and would you believe it, Sayura was built at the Hindustan Shipyard Limited right here in Vizag.
And here comes the Seychelles Coast Guard.
Ladies and gentlemen, the proud Sri Lankans from the Emerald Island of Asia. Give it to them, the proud crew of SLNS Sayura.
Visakhapatnam, give them a big hand! Come on, I know y'all can do louder and better. Our friends from different countries are here. Please encourage them, Visakhapatnam.
Sri Lanka, of course, is performing a wonderful folk dance for us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you're enjoying it as much as we are. Let's applaud the wonderful folk culture of Sri Lanka.
Commander Arun, in your travels with the Navy, I'm sure you must have visited many countries. But I think behind the scenes, you told me Sri Lanka was one of your favorites.
That's right, because you saw those dancers. Isaac Newton said, what goes up must come down. But those dancers just proved them wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Seychelles Coast Guard is a maritime military multi-mission service and a branch of the Seychelles People's Defence Force. It is said Seychelles has the smallest population of any independent African state.
Today, the Seychelles contingent is in Samba costume, which has a rich cultural history behind it and is a regular sight at parades the world over.
From the Seychelles naval ship Topaz, which was built at the Garden Reach Shipbuilders and Engineers, ladies and gentlemen, welcome the sailors from this diverse cultural, multi-ethnic nation, Seychelles.
And next follows the Thailand contingent. The Royal Thai Navy follows the organizational structure of the United States and includes the Naval Fleet and the Royal Thai Marine Corps.
The contingent is seen in traditional Thai costume, which is mostly worn on special days or on formal occasions. The LED lotus looks beautiful and serene and seems perfectly placed right in the middle of the contingent.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Royal Thai naval ship Saiburi, please give it up for the proud sailors of Saiburi. Saiburi is a Shao Fra class frigate, ladies and gentlemen, and look at them march in step.
The Royal Navy is key to the prosperity of Britain and the stability of the high seas. Emphatic words these are, aren't they?
Yes, they are. One of the world's leading nations, the United Kingdom contingent, has some huge props, including a bus, the Big Ben, and one of the world's most easily recognized sights, the London Black Cab, and of course, a heart. Dressed in red and white, the contingent wears a uniquely festive look.
From Her Majesty's ship Defender come the proud Queen's men and women. Defender is a daring class destroyer, as these men dare the seas and cross the oceans, because we are united through oceans.
True to its leadership status in the world, the mission of the United States Navy is to maintain, train and equip combat-ready naval forces capable of winning wars, deterring aggression and maintaining freedom of the seas. This is as good a detergent can get.
That is a good deterrent indeed, and their contingent here is a visual delight. The tall pom-poms, the costumes, the colors and elements of their national flag. Truly a sight to behold, ladies and gentlemen.
From the United States ships Antietam and McGamble, please welcome a very proud American sailors. Incidentally, theirs is one of the largest ships from our international friends to attend this International Fleet Review.
The Vietnamese People's Navy plays an important part in protecting national waters, islands, the continental shelf, special economic zones, and in ensuring the interests of maritime economy.
Their contingent is attired in traditional costumes, complete with straw hats, a picture of good old world charm.
Ladies and gentlemen, as they march in step with pride, please give it up for the proud sailors of the Vietnam Navy. Their serene music and their beautiful dances. Ladies and gentlemen, wishing them fair winds and following seas.
The final entourage is sure to leave a lasting impact. The Naval Provost is the backbone of security in the Indian Navy. They make a splendid sight here on their 30 bullets motorcycles and a pilot gypsy. Truly, ladies and gentlemen, a magnificent sight, if ever there was one. Visakhapatnam, please give them a huge hand of applause.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't mess with these missionary men.
It is suggested that hornpipe as a dance began around the 16th century on English sailing vessels. However, this is an urban myth, as the dance does not seem to have become associated with sailors until after 1740. Later in 1741, we hear of a hornpipe by a gentleman in the character of a sailor. Movements were those familiar to sailors of that time, looking out to the sea with the right hand to the forehead, then the left lurching as in heavy weather and giving the occasional rhythmic tug to their breeches, both before and after.
Well, that's a fascinating description, and I'm really glad we're taking a good look at this hornpipe dance. Ladies and gentlemen, you too can take a very good look at the Sea Cadet Corps contingent from Mumbai, 55 performers bringing to life the hornpipe dance.
The IFR songs will play, Magic Explosions, then the fireworks, and then our credits. So we have to wait for the fireworks to finish before we're done. Oh dear, I think we should do the credits before because... No, I think we're waiting for the Prime Minister. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's fine. We're here. We're the captain of the credits as well. Great job. No credits. Over. Over?
No credits?
No credits.
No credits?
Yeah.
I think I can catch the check.
Oh, okay. You're going to have to do what the Marcos did. You'll have to fly on a string because there are no seats available.
Tomorrow morning, I've got a special
With the? Do you?
Oh, you letting me get it? You want to go for a ride?
I would too. Excuse me. I would like very much to.
But I'm coming in the morning also to film it.
No, I'll get you. There's some time now.
Yeah, let's go now.
No, wait. I'll get that guy here. Stay here.
And
Vijay Raghav.
Commander,
Vijay Raghav.
while you're at it, how right is one of the mix this well? Since we're asking really massive favors of you, how about that?
One request is tomorrow in the morning, is there any chance we can visit the aircraft? No. Can you move it? Still? Definitely.
I'll give you a time.
Okay, just hurry, okay? Now let's negotiate. Just take it off and land here.
Wait, I'll get you. My cousin.
How about a Gemini? Major Raghav is what is it? He's not there. Do you have his number?
That's okay. Forget it.
It's your cousin, so you can use your good offices. And a little...
Submarine.
Actually, now I'm going
Drive up
to
the
that.
That would be quite special, yeah.
Should I?
But clearly not. I don't know what fire. That would have to be tomorrow. So, Commander, I don't think you can tomorrow the submarine comes up.
Please, even if it's 6 in the morning.
I'll give you a... because there's a whole lot of security now when I'm here.
No, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
But it has to be, everything has to be completed before 11:30.
Oh, your flight's 11:30.
No, flights are...
After IFR, my flight is 12:15.
Saying something?
I don't know. Should I once I hold on?
No. Okay. But when does that happen? You let me know.
Okay. He'll just tell you go.
Yeah? So nice. Go. I'll go now. Yeah, but 11:30, you gotta leave for the airport.
My flight is 12:55. Because I need to be there. So I need to leave at 11. I'm just giving you the information. It is possible. Not in country, obviously.
What an absolutely fabulous performance. Don't you think so, Visakhapatnam? That's better. What a beautiful evening it has been.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Sea Cadet Corps performing the hornpipe dance.
And the evening is not complete, ladies and gentlemen. Please look in the center. Beautiful costumes, beautiful dancers. Let's clap with every beat, every rhythm.
free. At home and home, we long for thee.
लहरी किरणों में जलसा अनुपम गूंजे गगन we are united through ocean.
सुनहरी किरणों में जलसा अनुपम गूंजे गगन we are united through ocean. Ahoy, hello, namaste. Ahoy, hello, namaste. Ahoy, hello, namaste. Ocean. Ahoy, hello, namaste. Ahoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your date with the Indian Navy this evening. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. There is more to come. We have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is half the evening's over. The good news is that the best is yet to come. Ladies and gentlemen, do not leave your seats. Look skyward as we give you pyrodynamics. That's right, an unadulterated overdose of entertainment. The pyrodynamics will be undertaken from an aircraft catwalk. Can you believe that? And this is being flown by an experienced airshow pilot. Look skywards, ladies and gentlemen. The catwalk will soon perform a solo performance. Enjoy the fireworks, ladies and gentlemen. The International Fleet Review.
रत्ती रत्ती सच्ची मैंने जान गवाई है, नच नच कोयलों पे रात बिताई है, अखियों की नींद मैंने फूकों से उड़ा दी, गिन गिन तारे मैंने उंगली जलाई है.
Do not leave your seats. That's right, look skywards. There is an overdose of adrenaline that we are pumping in this evening. Very soon, an aircraft will touch the skies.